Pocket paper folder.
Okay.
Greetings, friends. It's Josh.
And I'm Ryan.
We're here today, again, for another episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Ryan.
Josh.
What's going on?
I got a funny story if you want to hear it.
You've got another funny story.
I do have a funny story this week. So, I had something really embarrassing happen to me yesterday.
Oh, no.
So, as Josh knows, as you know, Josh, I texted you yesterday. I told you I was going hunting.
Yes. You got to go hunting.
And the hunting part is not the embarrassing part, but you need to know the context.
Okay.
To know the embarrassing part. So, I have a friend and an acquaintance who owns about 25 acres of land over in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky, and she texted me a couple nights ago and asked if I wanted to come hunt on her land. And if you know anything about hunting, if you get the opportunity to hunt on private land, that's like kind of what every hunter wants, because usually if you hunt public land, you're competing with other hunters. There's a chance that they could have your spot, you know.
So I grew up in Alabama.
Yes.
And I never went like hunting like really. I went out a few times with a shotgun, like a 410. So nothing like super powerful or anything like that. But the only thing that I've ever I've never imagined hunting on public land. Like everyone I know, like only so like when you told me that it was a big deal to hunt on private land, I was like, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So like to me that was just weird because like in my head, for whatever, everyone hunts on private land.
I mean, that is like the goal, because like I said, there's lots of perks to it,
sure,
which I won't go into because this is not a hunting podcast. But that is kind of the goal. Every hunter would love to hunt on private land when they can. So I got the opportunity, I couldn't pass it up. So I go out and I go hunting. It's a husband and wife, but mostly the person who does the hunting on the land is the wife. So she met me out there. We did some hunting together, and then she had to leave to go run some errands, and she said, just stay as long as you want. So I walked around for probably a couple hours, just walking up and down hills, through the woods. I'm walking all over the place. I'm carrying my shotgun, my pack, everything that you would take hunting, I'm carrying. I walk. I'm walking and walking. For 4 hours yesterday, I was walking.
Wow.
So I come home. So like I said, you have to know that part to understand the embarrassing part.
Okay.
So I come home yesterday and...
You forgot your pants.
It's not that embarrassing.
Okay.
So I come home yesterday and Melinda, my wife, had some errands to run, and she... can't remember why. I think we were donating some old dishes to Goodwill, and she asked me to take them out to the car. So I'm carrying like maybe 10, 12 plates, and I'm walking out to the car, and I go to step off the sidewalk, and I step in some mud, and I just totally bite the dust.
Oh, no.
I mean, like, it looked like a cartoon, like, both feet up in the air. I land on my back. The plates just shatter all over the parking lot.
Oh, gosh.
And the most embarrassing part of it all was there was a Papa John's delivery lady who was delivering a pizza to the people across the street. and I'm like on my back, like not sure if I hurt my back or my head. And I just hear this lady call out, "Are you okay?" And so I'm like covered in mud on my back, and I'm just like, "Yeah, I think so."
Oh, gosh.
So the reason I told the hunting story is like I can walk all over the woods, up and down hills, in the snow, because there was snow all over the farm. But I can't walk through my own parking lot to put a few things in the car.
Yeah,
so.
And you're lugging around stuff in the woods, too.
Yeah.
Just not paying attention.
So, yeah, I totally bit the dust.
Bit it hard.
I did.
That's lame.
So.
That kind of sucks, Ryan.
Like 3 people were like, "Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I was like, "The only thing that's wrong is my ego."
Yeah,
right now.
Well, you got to feel bad for the people who were going to buy those plates from Goodwill.
They are not going to buy those plates anymore.
Yeah, they're just going to miss out on
because they are in a dumpster in a million pieces.
Oh man. So speaking of Goodwill, that reminds me. I had an interesting thought. I feel like clothing companies, and this makes sense. There's a connection here.
Stick with it.
I feel like clothing companies could just stop making kids' clothes, and no one would notice.
Okay.
So I've had 2 kids at this point.
Yes.
I don't know that we ever actually needed to buy any clothes for either of them because everyone was like, "Oh, you're having a baby? Guess what I have for you?"
Everyone else bought clothes.
I have clothes that I can give you.
Yep.
Here, take them. They've been in a box in my basement for the last 3 years, and I just couldn't get rid of them. Please take them off my hands. Like, everybody.
Oh, yeah.
And I know this because I am that person. And so, and it's not that I'm not grateful, like, for the fact that people want to, like, help me save money and not buy clothes. Yeah. But it's this thing of, like, why are people still making this? They're so, like...
It's not even needed.
It's just in circulation. Like, just take a break. For, like, so if anyone is, like, a CEO of, like, a clothing company that's listening to this, I know you're out there. I know
yes. Many CEOs listen to this show.
Look, I know you're busy just like the rest of us, and you want to find a hobby that fits your lifestyle.
That's right.
I get it. We're trying to help you. But if you're listening, just, like, cut back on the baby clothes. Like 50%. So, like, Oshkosh, you can just, like, scale it back.
No, but
scale it back.
But here's the thing. The reason they don't is because there is someone buying those clothes.
You know who's buying the clothes? Grandparents.
It's grandparents. Grandma is going to the store and buying every single outfit that she thinks is cute and then giving it to you, and now you have, instead of 499 shirts for your 7-year-old, you have 500 shirts for your 7-year-old.
Well, that's the thing. The other thing is, like, I don't know that, like, the clothes that I have for my kid, like, some of the clothes that we had for my daughter, I don't think she ever wore, like, and she, like, wore maybe most of it one time.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing, like, for my son, he's growing so fast, like, by the time he wears something once,
he's grown out of it.
It's like, he's outgrown it by the time it gets in the wash.
No, so we have 2 boys, and we've gone through, like, we've kept stuff to pass down from one to the other, and we've gone through 2 boys, and they've not worn stuff.
That's insane.
Because there's so much, they just can't wear it all.
So that the tie into Goodwill there, obviously, is like you can't, like, because you can't just, like, give all of your kids' clothes to Goodwill.
No, you gotta pass it off to some other guy.
They would be overwhelmed with baby clothes. Like, what if that happened? Like, if everyone who just had baby clothes, like, okay, my kid's outgrown this, like, all take it to Goodwill instead of hoarding it in our basements. Goodwill would become nothing. Like, it would just become, like, nothing but baby clothes for all of eternity.
By the way, I feel okay. Like, a minute ago, my tone might have sounded judgy, but I feel okay with saying it that way because when I become a grandpa, I am 100% doing exactly what I was just judging a minute ago.
And like I said, I am extremely, like, I've had people who have given me clothes recently that I am just extremely grateful for. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, so, like, yes, give your baby clothes away for sure. Like, give them to the people that need them. But, like, do we really need to keep making more baby clothes?
Yes, because grandma keeps buying them.
And yeah, no, I don't know. That's my.
That is funny.
That's my thought of the day. Josh's thoughts.
I like it. So it connected. It did connect.
It works. It did. So anyway, we'll move on to our reviews now.
All right.
Because I think we've talked enough about embarrassment and Goodwill.
About embarrassing things.
So I got a game that I played for recently called Wreckfest, and I had seen this game.
Wreckfest.
Yeah, I had seen this game advertised, like, and I'd like seen it walking around Walmart, and it, like, so I know it's been out for a little while because it's in like the $20 bin.
Oh right, right.
And so like, but it's the cover looked fascinating to me because it reminded me of Burnout, which I've talked in the past about how much I really appreciate the Burnout games, and how, like, so I saw this cover, and it's just a bunch of like beat up cars just stacked up on top of each other with one pristine one like set on top.
Huh.
And like, I'm like, okay, so this has got to be like, this has to be like a Burnout type game, right? And so
drew you in.
I want to play this. I've got to play this game. And so lo and behold, it's on Game Pass. Like everything I'm playing
Game
these days.
Pass is the gift that keeps on giving.
No, everything that I'm going to play, like everything I'm going to review for the next, like, 6 weeks, just like nothing but Game Pass games. So anyway, Wreckfest. So I was like, okay, I have a chance to play this now that I've got Game Pass for a few months. I'm gonna check it out. So I started playing it, and at first I was like, okay, this is really fun. Like, it starts off and you're like in a demolition derby.
Oh, that's a good start.
On lawnmowers.
Let me rephrase. That's a great start.
I know, right? So like, I'm like, okay, this game's awesome already. So like, I'm playing it, and like, then the next thing's not as good.
Oh, it started too good.
It did. So it basically what you're doing, and I got to be honest here, I didn't play this game for more than a couple hours, because as I was getting into it, I was like, this just isn't gonna hold me.
Yeah.
Like, I was so disappointed in the direction that it ended up going.
Yeah.
And part of it was probably my expectations for it, because I was, like I said, I was expecting, a Burnout type game, and it was really more of a Gran Turismo type game.
Not where I would have thought that was going.
Yeah, I know. So it's not Gran Turismo in the sense of like, oh, you're going to be getting like super fast cars and super fancy cars and things like that, and racing on, nice racetracks, but in the sense that like, you're going to unlock a car, and then you're going to buy parts to upgrade the car, and then you're going to tune it up, right? And so for me, I'm not a car guy. I've talked about this before. I don't like racing games. I'm just not into cars. Mm-hmm. So like, trying to play. So basically, what I came to figure out was that this is basically a leveling up racing game.
Oh yeah.
And it just doesn't work for me.
That's a bad title.
Yeah, I know. You have a title called Wreckfest.
You would think there's going to be a lot of wrecking going on.
And I assume there is. Like, so there's a bunch of different events that you have to go through. But what I came to discover as I was playing, the game's flipping hard.
Oh.
Like,
man.
it's not even that it's like, it's not like it's impossible. But like, it's just really difficult to even win like the first series of races with what you start off with.
Yeah.
At least for me. Now, again, I'm not a racing guy. I don't do racing games. So maybe there are things about racing games that I just don't know just because it's not my niche. But I feel like I should be able to win a race in the first set of things that I'm doing without having to try super hard. Yeah. Like, if you're going to put a game in front of me and say, hey, here's a game, like, to get started with it, it shouldn't be an impossible task to come in first place, right? I'm not crazy on that, right?
No, you're not crazy at all. And I would also think that, there's lots of people that enjoy racing games. I don't specifically buy them, but I'll play them if they're decent. But I would think that can't be a huge market. So I would think that you would want to, if you're going to make a racing game, for lack of a better term, you'd want to make it accessible to multiple people. So you're not crazy, and that just, I wouldn't think it'd be a good strategy for making a game. But.
Sure. So all in all, like, it's not my cup of tea. It was like, if you're into cars though, like I could see how, like, if you're into cars and like upgrade, like because you go through, you have to buy, different, parts and things like that to upgrade, to tune up your car differently, and you can adjust your tuning so that your car, is faster but takes turns worse, or
Right.
however you wanted to adjust it, you can do that. That to me is tedious
Oh yeah.
and annoying.
Yeah.
I want to have a car, like, just give me a car that I can drive
Right away.
and I don't want to have to mess with things
Yeah.
in my car. It's like, my car shouldn't be like a playable character in an RPG. Like that, but that's what this felt like to me. And
Gotcha.
So,
Yeah.
And I hesitated to say the phrase it's a racing RPG, but that's kind of what it came off as.
Yeah.
To me,
I could kind of picture that.
in the sense of a cyberpunk type RPG,
Yeah.
as opposed to a whatever. Never mind. We're so yeah, Wreckfest. I don't recommend it. It's not it's got good graphics. It started off fun, but after about 5 hours, I was just like, nope,
Not for you.
I'm not gonna play this anymore. And it bummed me out so much because
Yeah.
with a name like Wreckfest, how could
yeah.
you possibly go wrong with that?
I mean, when you said the title, I was like, all right, this is going to be good.
I thought exactly. I thought it was going to be a great game.
You see, Josh,
Alas,
it was a bummer to you, but you have just prevented it from being a bummer to someone else.
that's true. And don't spend your money. It's only like $20 at Walmart. Now, if you are into racing games, it's something that you can play, in a short amount of time, and it's kid friendly. You're you're racing,
just racing.
And you do wreck because it's kind of like you're on dirt tracks and stuff like that, and you're slamming, you get points and stuff like that for slamming and destroying other cars and things like that. But yeah, not a Burnout type game as I was hoping. So
That's too bad.
it is. What have you got for us, Ryan?
All right, so I have sort of been playing a game
Sort of been.
in the background while playing other games.
Okay.
Like, I'll take a break from what I'm primarily playing to play this. I've been playing Civilization 6.
Sid Meier.
Which I am familiar with the franchise in that I've heard of Sid Meier. I've heard of the Civilization games before. I've actually seen other people play some of them before, but this is the first time I've ever played one. So never played one before. If you're not familiar with the Civilization games, basically the gist of it is you choose a historical figure. I mean, it could be, one of my games I chose Teddy Roosevelt. There's various historical figures you can choose. And you start in the year 2000 BC.
So Teddy Roosevelt was alive?
Yes, he was.
BC?
You didn't know that, did you?
Oh my gosh. My entire worldview has changed. Teddy Roosevelt was a magician.
And your objective is to create the best possible civilization.
Go figure.
I know. No one would have saw that coming.
With a name like Civilization, who would have expected?
It's amazing.
Surprise!
Shock value. There's multiple ways where you can sort of win. You can. There's all types of victory. So there's a science victory. There's a culture victory. Domination, which is like you wipe out all the other civilizations. There's a religious victory. There's a diplomacy. Yeah. So there's 5 or 6 ways that you can sort of win, if you will. That's the whole gist of the game. I will say up front, I enjoyed the game and I am currently enjoying it. But it is something that, at least it feels to me like it's something you need to be able to have a little more time.
Yes.
Because you kind of need to be able to pay attention.
Yes.
You need to strategize. If you're familiar with sort of these types of games, the city builder, RTS, the real-time strategy games, whatever you want, what other genres that are like that. If you're familiar with those, this one to me seems a little bit more difficult than most.
Yes. Well, the thing with the Civ games, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember I think I played like Civ 2. So it's been a long time since I've really played any of the Civ games, but it's all turn based.
Yes, it is. That's
as
correct.
Opposed to like your Age of Empires and real time strategy, where
right?
It's like everything's kind of happening all at once.
Yeah,
but you have to, like in Civ, you have to make a decision on your turn.
You take your turn. Yeah, it's not like Age of Empires in that regard. That's correct.
So that I can definitely see how that would add a time, a large time element to it.
Yeah, and then when the game first starts, you have to like explore and send people out to uncover the map. So when the game first starts, you can't see where all the other civilizations are, so you don't know what they're doing. So you could encounter another civilization and they're way ahead of you. You might have been aiming for a domination victory through war, and then encounter one of the other civilizations and learn that their army is way ahead of you and you're never going to win that way. And so it's kind of that
adjust your strategy. Gotcha.
Yeah. So it takes a little more time. I looked up on how long to beat, because there's like, I don't know if you want to call them matches or games, but basically a match is 500 turns.
Good gracious.
And so they say on your first playthrough, as you're getting to know it, it takes about 20 hours to do a whole match or a whole game.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's I mean, and I'm not even close to finishing it yet, and I can see that.
Holy cow.
I've maybe done, because I've started several matches, I've maybe done 7 or 8 hours on my longest.
Yeah, no, I don't feel like that. I mean, like I said, I tried playing Civ like 2 like when I was young. And I completely lost interest, but I don't think I could I don't think that I don't know that I could maintain interest in it for 20 hours for one match. Like I just don't.
That's the challenge I had, because on one match I had chosen to be Rome. I was going for sort of a diplomacy victory where I was going to have strong relationships with all these other civilizations, and then somehow I don't know what I did, but something I did angered another civilization.
Was it Gandhi? It's always Gandhi.
It wasn't him.
Oh, okay.
But basically this other civilization, like, because I angered them, they like built around me and sort of cut me off, and so I was gonna have to like move, essentially, like relocate and all this stuff. So I just like, it got to a point where I was like, I think I could still win this, but I'm like 7 hours in and I have to kind of start over within the game. And I was like, I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah,
so,
no. Okay.
So it is fun, but there's a time investment that doesn't always work well for, like busy parents. Worth the cost. I got it on sale for $10.
Not bad.
So I was watching. I kind of wanted it for a long time. It's a weird way. I wanted a game like this because I was reading a book on ancient Rome. So that's how I got into wanting a game like this. So I was watching the price for a couple months, and I saw a sale on it, and so I grabbed it up for $10.
Yeah, not bad.
It's gone back up, I think, to 40 or 50 now on all other platforms except. I saw it on the PS Store, the PlayStation Store today for $20.
Okay.
So,
so maybe it's still on sale by the time this comes out.
By the time you listen to this, yes.
Probably not.
Yeah, so, it's one of those things where the price you're going to kind of have to choose if it's worth it to you.
Right.
There's no, in terms of family friendly, no gore, violence, anything like that. I mean, you do have, like, there's times where you're attacking other armies, other civilizations, but it's not.
Right. Same kind of deal with Age of Empires. It's like
even I zoomed really, all the way in one time, and there was nothing.
You're not really going to see anything. It's not really violent. It's just Yeah.
Yeah. There's not much of like a story per se, so like you can pause and walk away from it.
Right. But that's one of those things where it's like. It's one of those games where I feel like if you obviously if it's going to take 20 hours, you can't do that all in one sitting. But it's like if I leave that for too long, I'm not going to remember what the heck I was doing.
Right, and so that's what I was going to say. Like even though there's not a story, you need to pay attention. So when we talk about family friendliness, sometimes what we talk about is is a kid going to be in the background distracting you? Are you going to have to pause a lot? Are you going to miss something? So you do kind of need to pay attention. Overall, it is fun. I'm really on the fence on if I can recommend it. I think for me, it comes down to the price you can get it at.
Right.
So if you can get it at a good price, it's fun. It's an enjoyable experience. But it's not a game you're gonna just like sit down and play through and beat it.
Right.
Like,
you're probably never gonna finish a match.
Yeah. I actually sort of resigned myself to accepting that. Like, I'm not gonna finish a match. I'll play when it sounds fun, and then I'll walk away from it.
And if you can get it for $10, why not? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So, same. Yeah. Awesome.
So there you go.
So Civ 6. I can't believe
Civ 6.
I can't believe they're up to Civ 6 already. That's crazy. I feel like I'm old. Oh wait, I am. So friendly reminder to all the dead tired dads out there. Valentine's Day is coming up in a few days.
It is.
So just be aware. It's is it Monday or Monday?
It's Monday.
It's Monday. So this came out on Friday. So if you're listening to it on Saturday, you've got like 2 days. Hopefully you're listening to it on Friday and you're realizing, oh gosh, I got 3 days, and that gives you a little bit of leeway.
Here's the other thing about that, Josh. The Super Bowl is on Sunday.
Oh gosh.
Valentine's Day is on Monday. Don't get distracted with football, because I know you want to, because I'm going to.
Make wise decisions, gentlemen.
Yeah, just don't get distracted by football and get yourself in the doghouse.
Make wise decisions,
Be smart.
gentlemen. Yep. So just wanted to throw that PSA out there for everyone.
It's a good PSA.
I thought so. Yeah, I didn't even think about the Super Bowl angle.
I know. It's weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of late for the Super Bowl is why.
It is because they had an extra game this year, which is...
Oh, yeah, they did. Yeah, well, it makes sense.
So that's going to do it for this episode. That PSA is the last thing that I had. Do you have anything else?
That's all I got.
Yeah, okay. So that is going to do it for this episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast. Thanks so much for listening. As always, you can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. And we can tweet at you with the little tweet birdie. And you can subscribe to the podcast. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and do all of the things.
Do all the things.
Like we always say. Just do all the things. And again, we appreciate you. New episodes every single Friday. We're going to be here. Until we decide that we're not. But for now, it's coming out on Friday. And we'll catch you next time on the next episode of the Dead Tired Dads podcast.
Bye.